Okay, we are now live in five, four, three, two.
Hello, the internets and everybody out there. This is Ide with Shared Harvest, and we're joined by a few folks within the respective communities doing some good work. I'm going to ask each and one of them to introduce themselves and a little bit about what they do within their community, and we'll go from there. I guess we'll start off with Saranya. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, Ade. Thank you so much for having us. Do you want me to go ahead and just introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having us. It's great to be here. My name is Saranya Lair. I actually live in New Hampshire, so thank you for letting me kind of zoom in all the way to the West Coast. I wish I was there with you all right now. I am the founder of something called Vote Health 2020, and I'll put the resources in the chat or we'll have it for follow-up. Vote Health 2020 is a nonpartisan coalition of health professionals, and we define health professionals pretty broadly. And we're a group that's come together around a common purpose. We want to make sure that everyone who is eligible to vote is registered to vote and is able to vote safely this fall. That's the goal. And that's what we're all about and what we're excited to kind of talk to you all about today.
All right, awesome, great. Sounds very promising and exciting. I think next we can go with doing today.
I'm doing good, doing good. It's good to be here. Good to be here today. My name is Rashad Rucker Trapp. I am a city commissioner for the City of Los Angeles Community and Family Services for the City of Los Angeles, as well as a member of the Metropolitan Church of Christ, where we're at right now at this beautiful event, testing people for COVID-19, both antibody and general. Pretty much a community activist for Los Angeles County, I'll say now. Long time activist, long time person of just speaking up on social justice and community engagement. And again, it's good to be here with you guys.
Keep going. Oh, okay, I'm
He
back.
told me to keep going, so I'll definitely this time want to pass it over to our minister here, Pastor Faith Haygood. I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm Faith Haygood III, minister here at the Metropolitan Church of Christ. We're just excited today to be hosting this COVID-19 pop-up drive-through testing. There's some food giveaway. There's some Afro-Caribbean music being played by the DJ, which is awesome. So I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be invited. I'm just a fly on the wall, so I'm here to learn.
Awesome, great, man. This is great and exciting. It's a beautiful event indeed. It's a nice space, wonderful day for something beautiful and of service to others. So it's great. So Sonia, let me ask. I guess the first question I would have with regards to your project is it also about voter education around the different bills and things people need to vote on to be aware of?
So we are a national effort, and it's really interesting. Our goal is really to make sure that people who are eligible actually get registered and then have a safe voting plan. So one of the things that we realized that was kind of surprising to us is that a little over half of the voting age population actually votes in general. And that's even for big presidential elections, let alone local elections. Right. And even pre-COVID, we know that health was it was one of the #1 issues on voters' minds. And yet there's a fact that kind of surprises folks, but doctors apparently in general tend to vote less than the general population, which we thought was kind of surprising. And we thought, okay, well, we know a lot of doctors. We should change that. Because if healthcare is one of the number one issues, some of you folks delivering healthcare better get part of the political process. And then we know for other reasons, most notably systemic racism and voter suppression, other people, it has made so much harder for people in Black and brown communities to be able to register and vote. So what we really were focused on is making sure that if somebody was eligible to vote, that we help them get registered, and then we help them think through what is the safest way for you to vote. Is mail-in or absentee ballot an option for you? If that's something you want to consider, let's help you get that absentee ballot and how you fill it out. If you would like to vote in person, is early voting an option for you? If not, let's talk about how you can keep safe when you go to the polls. Do you have your PPE? Do you have any medications that you're on? Might want to consider making sure you've got, pack those away, and food. And do you have to take, your medications with water? Make sure you've got some water, that kind of thing. So it's really about, at a national level, making sure that people are registered and have those safe voting plans.
So it's about access.
It's about access. And one of the things I really encourage people to do if they're really interested in this work is to figure out what's going on locally, to partner with their local communities, because we know there's so many efforts all over the country to help educate people about what's on the ballot locally and at the state level, in addition to the federal level, but specifically trying to understand what's happening locally and at the state level. So we encourage people to see what resources and what partners are out there in their communities to help build some of those coalitions and collaborations.
Awesome. So I would ask Rashad, how is the church working with voters and voter registration in the local community? Or is it?
Well, one way is doing civic events such as this, where we combine the importance of COVID testing and voter education as well. So the theme of this event is surrounded with voter education. So as people are driving through, they're also given information on various voting material, polling locations. We have also to Assembly Member Mike Gibson's office, who's also sharing the information with regarding to safe practices to vote, as well as the important propositions, especially the ones that are particularly affecting our communities of color. So that's, I would say, and Pastor Haygood, please feel free to, share as well. Um, that's some of the actions that we're taking here at the Metropolitan Church of Christ.
Yeah, I also saw Councilman Herb Weston here
And
earlier today.
yeah, and then also too, we which part of this event is actually co-hosted by Council President Emeritus Herb Wesson from LA, who's also running for supervisor of the second district here in Los Angeles County. So we're doing a whole lot of a whole lot of, we would say, voter education, from bringing folks live. We're going to also have a couple of other folks from the city of Carson that will be rolling through, as well as various electeds just coming out again just to educate, meet the people as they come through, as they get their testing done, as they get their food, get their box food, which is, I was told, about 25 pounds worth of good stuff from Council President Herb Weston's office. So we're doing, our part in making sure that people know to vote, of course, encourage them to vote, because, of course, this election, like every other election, is very important to, but we want to make sure that people, know what's happening and make sure that they have, and have both ends of what's out there. And, of course, who's on the ballot as well.
Yeah, that's great because for a while, one of the concerns that I have is that there's a push to vote, and it seems like it's focused around the presidential election
Mhm.
and getting a particular person out of office, and not enough around education and all the other local folks that people need to be voting on a regular basis, so that when the whoever sits in the president chair is actually listening to the people because of all the representatives that the people have elected are talking to him. So I'm glad to hear there's a lot of voter education that's going on within the church, within this community. I know I'm part of a voter education program we're going to be doing next weekend. It's around bike rides. We're trying to get 300 bike riders out and educate people on voting. So it's wonderful to hear the work that's being done around voter education. I think that's a very huge piece.
And I think, Ade, just to add, I think this year more than ever before, or more recent, in more recent times, people understand it so much more deeply how much local and state elections matter. Do you have a mask mandate in your community? Who is on your school board and how are they deciding about sending kids to school? Who are your local sheriffs? Who are your local prosecutors? People are, I think, realizing that and understanding that a little bit more than we've seen in the past. And sometimes even people can feel, okay, well, I can't really influence who is it doesn't matter. I don't need, my vote's not going to count. I can't influence who's the president or anything like that. But when you start to, well, could you influence who's your, the city council person, or, your select person, or on the school board, or on the, who's the DA? That does tend to, people are like, oh yeah, well, yeah, I can do that. That is smaller. And it's, it all matters. And I think people are seeing that more now than before. And I hope that continues even past this election.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, so when I first heard the health component of the program that you were doing, I'm like, well, how is that? How does that work really? But when you explain it, it makes a lot of sense. Environmental health, there's all kinds of health risks that Black and brown folks deal with on a regular basis, and access to safe voting has always been something. We've actually, Black folks in this country have actually got killed for. I like to, from saying like people die for our right to vote. Really, the reality is that people got killed exercising their rights to vote, because we're born with that right. We have that right to do it, right? It's not like something we like, oh, we have the right now, we have the permission, and no, we've always had that right. And so to hear that project happening nationally is awesome. Um, Faith, yes, please.
Well, I was just, you were asking, what are we doing? And perfectly honestly, I never think we're doing enough from the church side. I don't personally believe that it's the church's job to do what the politicians do. But I do believe it's the church's job to be a place of hope and a place where people can get proper information. And so what I have done, I've tried to make sure I know what I don't know. So I listen to people like Rashad and others at our church. We have a sitting judge here and other people. I try to listen to them so that I can understand where I ought to be. In the same way, they listen to me concerning spiritual matters and scriptural matters. I try to listen to them. I don't believe my job is to do what they do. My job is to make it as easy as possible for them to function within this church culture, so that things like this can happen. And that's what I'm trying to do. But if you honestly ask me just about our church or most churches, um, just not enough. Again, not jumping into the politician space, but being a place where people can get educated, and where people like you can say, okay, how can I get in contact with people? How can I get in front of people so that I can show them um, even how to interface with the system to and that meets with our one of our missions here, especially during this pandemic, is to be a beacon of hope. People feel hopeless in this political system, in this political environment rather. And when people like you can come in and say, no, it's not hopeless. Your vote counts for the president, but even if you are 2 degrees of too many degrees of separation from those decisions, you can affect school boards and local policy. So, but that needs to come from people like you. I mean, I can say it, but again, I don't have the kind of cachet for it to have the kind of power for somebody that's working in it when they say it. And so I think that's kind of my position to make sure that people like you can have an audience to say those things.
Yeah, that's awesome because historically for us, the church has been a place of refuge. It's served as many different roles other than just a house of worship for centuries for us, right? So it's great to see the work being continued within our community, and I think there's a point where there was a I read an article not too long ago where there's a lot of people moving away from the church, but I think work like this provides the space and gets people to understand, yeah, we're still here and it is still a place of refuge, it's a place of education, of community, of building, of just being of service, right? And I think a lot of us need to get into that space more, just being of service to others, not really expecting anything back. And I think the church is the perfect place that provides that space for that. So thank you for what you're doing within the community and allowing Shared Harvest to come here and participate in doing testing and getting folks educated on the voting, you know?
Well, thank you for letting me participate. I'm just honored.
Awesome. Thank you. Anything? Rashad, you have anything else you'd like to share?
I don't know. I'm just like I said. I'm very excited that we're out here today. We're out here, not only educating folks, but we're out here just overall being good servants to the community. And for those that are, listening out here in the LA area, we encourage you to, come on out, get tested, get free food, get information. You know, hopefully you'll come at a good time when one of the electeds are out here, so that you can have an opportunity to meet them as well. I definitely extend my thanks to Pastor Haygood, as well as the community or the Shared Harvest Fund for partnering with us and doing this event. They're an amazing team. It's an amazing team out here. Well, I like the phrase "well-oiled machine" out here. A well-oiled machine out here, and so I'm encouraged, and I'm hoping to do more of these projects out here, especially leading up to election time, as well, because it's just we all have our vessels, if you will, of how we spread the word. I know we had mentioned that the church, uh, and I'll still even say it is still kind of like that vessel, if you will, that people look up to in terms of leadership and in terms of direction, not for say on who to vote for or vote on specific measures, but just even that encouragement of just the importance of it. And a lot of the stigma is, my vote doesn't count, or my, you know, I don't know what happens to my vote once I do it, so I don't even bother. But the overall importance is, we can't fall for that. You know, we can't fall for that. We have to, we have to get in there. We have, because reality, and we have seen, our vote does matter. Our vote does count. And so, again, I hope that we do more of this. I hope that we continue, at least on my end, we will continue to, be out there in the streets, educating folks within our communities on voting, and of course spreading the word on how to do it safe, and so that we wipe that fear of what happens to my vote. I know there's a lot of fear out there of, my vote's not going to make it to the registrar's office, or the elimination of mailboxes or whatnot. But I believe the county is doing a very good job in um, making the making the accessibility, if you will, for folks to have that safety measure to do so. So, again, we're definitely here to serve, and thank you guys for what you guys do as well.
Yes, thank you. Could you also share with the folks listening and watching when services are, what next community events that you have that folks can come to?
On our end, I know we're going to be doing we're going to be participating with several different events that are taking place throughout the county. I can't really list them off the top of my head, but for our commission, for our uh, organizations that I'm a part of, and I'm sure our Pastor Haygood is a part of. We'll be participating in conjunction with other organizations in the efforts of spreading the word in terms of voting, leading up to the elections.
All right. Any social media handles they can follow? Are you having Zoom services?
Yeah, we have
oh, go ahead, Faye.
yeah, okay. Yeah, we have services every Sunday, 8 and 11 on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Church of Christ, Metropolitan Church of Christ online on Facebook, and Metropolitan Church of Christ on YouTube. And we have a live service. We just decided, we're not going to do taping. We're going to put in the work. This is not to knock on anybody else. It's just something we felt we need to do to keep it more organic. So we have a lot of mistakes that other churches don't have because it's live. So, and also we have traditionally here, we have supported domestic violence awareness. And so even though we can't meet, we will still be doing Purple Sunday activities next week. Of course, we usually have survivors come in and talk, and organizations come in and talk, but because of COVID, those things we can't do. But we're still going to do some things that we can on the social media side. In the following week, we'll have our Pink Sunday where we support breast cancer and all cancers. And again, we deal with survivors and educate people on how to be safe, how to get checked, encouraging women to do mammograms and things like that. And men too, because believe it or not, that is something that's breast cancer in men is something that's rising. So, and we'll still be doing those, but we can't do all the stuff we usually do. We are taking this COVID thing seriously. We don't think it's a punishment from God. There's these things happen all the time. They're just happening in America at this time, along with the rest of the world. But we do believe that in order for us to be people who love others, that we have to encourage things like social distancing, wearing masks. And so we can't say, well, we're just gonna buck the system and bring people together because we're a church. We don't think that's to show love for people. to ask people to do things that's irresponsible. So we're going to do what we can, but that's what we're doing as far as trying to help the community.
Great, awesome. Saranya, any social media handles folks can follow, go to for your national and for local folks that want to get involved?
Sure. Thank you, Ade. It's votehealth2020.com is the website. And the Twitter handle is at votehealth2020. And the Instagram handle is votehealth2020. So pretty easy there. And we have a partnership with the nonpartisan, not-for-profit vote.org. So so if you go to our website or to our Twitter handle or anything, if you even just put up your phone and scan the QR code that you see behind me, it takes you to vote.org. And so anyone in the country can do that, and it'll take you directly to the state specific information that you need. So nice and easy that way. We have a number of tools and resources on our Google Drive. We have which you can access through Vote Health 2020, or just in whatever way I can get those to you. And we have lots of resources on our Google Drives. We have these kind of things if you want to do this during your meetings. We have slides. We have flyers people can post. We have stickers people can wear on their PPE when they're doing the testing, which I think some folks might already have. I know some of the folks at Shared Harvest and My COVID MD had those. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. As Pastor Haygood was saying, we are trying to also make it as easy as possible for people to register or request their absentee ballots. We know in California, your registration deadline is coming up. It is a week from the 12th? No, it's a week from Monday. It's October 19th is the deadline to register online or by mail. Absentee ballot deadlines are coming up. Early voting has already started. So just encourage everyone, if you haven't done it yet, please do so now. Encourage your family and friends to do the same. Try to get 5 people to do it and get those 5 people to get 5 more people. And we're here to help in any way that we can.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining Shared Harvest on this Fireside Talk. Really appreciate the work that every one of you all is doing. Thank you again for your service, and looking forward to good health and more beautiful events within the community and nationally. So I'm about to sign off. I got to get back to the music out there, play some more. Yeah, you all have a good day. Thank you again. All right.
Thank you. Tthank you so much.